Okay, call this Village of Greenhills Council meeting for April 25th, 2023 to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Ms. Husband-Noble?
Here.
Ms. Walther?
Here.
Ms. Hudson?
Here.
Mr. Lee?
Here.
Ms. Hermes?
Here.
Mr. Coulter? Here. Mayor Moore?
Here. Okay, we have prayer by Maria Walter.
Almighty God, grant us the grace to remember with love and reverence our dear departed members. Grant peace and eternal rest to those who have gone before us. We ask for consolation for those who sorrow, and that you bestow upon us your everlasting blessing. We're thankful for the lives whom we have remembered on Memorial Day this year. May their memory serve as inspiration to us. Be with us and bless us. We pray in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have the council minutes of the March 28th meeting and the retreat meeting held on April 15th. If there are no corrections to be made, the minutes will stand as approved. Okay. Okay, so Chief, are you going to be doing your presentation? No, wait, this is,
No, sir.
that's.
Oh, you're looking at the minutes, yeah,
Yeah.
here. We have Jennifer White.
Yeah, okay. Jennifer Weicker from the library.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for letting me come and speak again. And I brought show and tell this time. So the summer is upon us, and that means that the Summer program at the library is about to kick off on June 1st. And that is for youth 0 to 18. And there are kid programs and teen programs that are a little bit different this year. We have 2 levels of activity booklets, 0 to 7 and 8 to 12. And we also have the 0 to 7 is in Spanish as well. So we have multilingual, so everybody can be able to participate and come in. And this is, of course, the reading program for the library that we've done for a long time with different variations. But kids and teens who come into the library can get the free activity book for kids. And if you're a teen, 13 to 18, you get a free journal. You also get the activity booklet. You get a free book of your very own to keep, to pick from our stash. And you get a Reds coupon, and that's all just for signing up. And the way the program works is you kind of work through the different booklets that have activities, and you get to set 3 goals for kids. And those are customizable to what they're interested in and what their levels are. So you pick 3 goals for the summer, and then as you achieve one, then you get to enter the grand prize drawings. If you complete all 3 goals, then you also get completion prizes. If you are a kid, you can pick from a color change cup.
Make sure you show the camera your show and tell.
And also the tote bag.
Yeah.
Those are the kid completion prizes. For the teens, another tote bag, very nice, might be very handy for the pool, or a water bottle for
Also
completing
very
all
handy
of them.
for the pool. Also very handy for the
It
pool.
could be very handy for the pool. Even this one is, it's supposed to change color with hot or cold, so get some good ice going in there, and it will change some really pretty colors and everything. But grand prizes, there's also a new feature called a Wonder Wheel, which is like a little carnival wheel that you can spin, but there will be little activities they can complete, little prizes and they can spin the wheel every day, once every day per kid. So we're gonna have all kinds of fun, and that's just the general reading activities. I have an entire calendar of events. These are only the kid ones. I'm not going to try to hit them all up. What I am going to say is go online to check them out or stop into the library, and we have these that you can pick up and know what's going on. I am going to share just a couple of highlights. We're going to do a Sharpie tie-dye tote, which is separate from this tote, but I don't know if you know this, but if you draw with Sharpie marker on fabric and then spray it with rubbing alcohol, the colors bleed and you get a tie-dye effect, which will also be quite handy for the pool. There is registration, that's for teens, that's going to be on June 7th at 2 p.m., which is a Wednesday. There's also going to be a history lecture from the Museum Center in partnership with Creative Aging Cincinnati, and they're going to present Getting There, which is all about the history of Cincinnati transportation, and that's aimed at adults, but anybody who's interested is welcome to attend. That's going to be on Monday, June 12th at 6:30 p.m. And then we're going to have a Looney Balloony, who is a balloon artist who will be able to customize sculptures for anybody who is interested. That's an all-ages program, and it's going to be on Thursday, June 22nd at 2 p.m. And then one that's for kids in particular is a babysitting class that the fire department is helping us to put on. So we're very thankful for that partnership that will be happening. It will be on Saturday, July 1st. It will be starting early. It will be at 9 a.m. because it is a 4-hour class. However, it is registration, and registration doesn't start until June 17th, 2 weeks beforehand. We're trying to balance, people getting it all scheduled like now and people who like to wait a little bit and kind of see how the summer is shaping up. So we want to be certain that people have access. So 2 weeks beforehand, you can go online or you can call us and we can help you register.
And what are the ages for that?
That is a great question, and the answer is ages 12 to 16. And like I said, that'll be a 4-hour class, and Julie is going to go over, it will be an American Safety and Health Institute certified babysitting class, and she'll go over CPR, first aid, stranger danger, and age-appropriate activities for young children. So we're going to have a lot of fun this summer, so we hope that everybody will feel free to stop in. I will reiterate that the adults get the winter checkout challenge. These are for the kiddos 0 to 18 this time. But come back for the highly coveted, we've had different coffee mugs as completion prizes for the last few years of the winter checkout challenge, so you can always stop in to see what the new one will be next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, now I have the right.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay, we have no public hearings, no proclamations to do, reports from municipal officials, the municipal manager, Yvonne Kovac.
Thank you, Mayor. I failed to do a legislative report this time. I apologize for that, but I will go over those items right now. 2 resolutions, and they both involve grants that I am working on, or in the case of the second one, our engineer is assisting with it. The first one is with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. That's the NatureWorks grant that we're hoping for. I can't remember if I already shared this with you, but we learned that the entire Hamilton County only gets $91,000. So we will probably go in for $50,000 and hope for the best there. We have some other funding. As you know, and I apologize for getting sidetracked here, but we have the community garden funding that we've received, started that project, and that's how that is going to proceed. As we get our funding, we're going to undertake those different pieces. Back on the legislation, the second one then is for the Transit Infrastructure Fund, which this will be our 3rd project through that one. It's been very, very beneficial for us in our road work around the park and ride. And this time we're going for money for Farragut and Ingram, both of which are desperate need of repair. We're going to go in with a 20% match. It does require at least a 10% match, so we'll go with a 20% match. The overall cost for that project is about $850,000, so it's a pretty big project for us, and we're going to give it a shot. The funding has just been a superb benefit for us, and I know for other communities. So those are your legislative items for tonight. A couple of other things I wanted to talk about. The pool opening coming up Saturday. Isn't that hard to believe? But I'm so glad. It's summertime. Our memberships are coming in. Residents Non-residents, you can still join at the gate if you don't get your membership in beforehand. Our community garden, I don't know if you saw it this evening, but Mike sent me a picture after they took the sod up. So it's really taking shape at this point in time, and he'll start laying the beds in place tomorrow. We have a really enthusiastic group of gardeners, so it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And we still have beds available if anybody's interested in getting one. Our road project that was on Farragut and Enfield is nearing completion. They were waiting, we'll be doing one more coat. I always forget the name of that coat.
Reclamite.
Yeah, somehow it like seals it and you get a longer life for it. I think they had to start doing that on a regular basis because the quality of the asphalt required by ODOT is so pathetic that a lot of vendors are finding that they're having to put that down. We had to do that after Flanders, if you remember. It was not a real good job, and the vendor had to put that down. So anyway, that's a good thing. That should happen probably within about the next 10 days to 2 weeks. So let's see, I already mentioned the other two grants. We are celebrating Arbor Day on June 2nd at noon. We'll have some interesting things there. We will also have some seedlings to give out. And then hopefully the library can help us if we have extra seedlings to give them out to people who come to the library. Thank you. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Any comments or questions? Law Director Jeff Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing new to report tonight.
Burger Council Teresa Lawley.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Okay. Chief of Police Neil Furterman.
Thanks, Mayor. The most fun that we've had this year was right here in this chamber and downstairs and then the basement and outside at our open house on Saturday. I don't have the final numbers, but I know we had well over 100 that came through. We partnered with the fire department and we saw kids of all ages scamper through our cruisers and up onto fire trucks and ambulances, and it was a very enjoyable time. I particularly want to thank some of our Greenhills merchants who partnered with us. Bargains and Buyouts awarded a $150 gift card that Sergeant Holbrook, seated in the back of the room, drew out of his magic basket full of door prizes. Our newest restaurant, Bardello's, participated with some gift cards, as well as our Greenhills sandwich shop. So we thank them. We look forward to having folks come through our facility. This was our second go-round at that, and it was just an awful lot of fun, and we could not have done it without the support of our officers who manned the various stations and our friends in the fire department who also turned out to help. Also right here in this room, we did a defensive tactics training on May 11th, and if you look at our monthly report, you'll see two of our officers that are about 6'2" or 6'3", tossing each other around. I'm sure that the lights in the manager's office might have blinked once or twice, but always a lot of fun. I was very sore that night, but it's always good training, and Sergeant Holbrook does an excellent job with that. And since he's got the spotlight shining right on him, we'll continue telling him some of the good things that he underwent this month. He is the most recent graduate from advanced training from the Supervisors Training and Enforcement Program, or I'm sorry, Education Program. It's put on by the Law Enforcement Foundation in Columbus, and it's sponsored in conjunction with the Ohio Association of Chiefs of Police. It is a 3-month training program, and there are 3 weeks on site. I just checked in with him today to see if he missed doing any of the homework, because he spent an awful lot of time with that over the past 3 months, but we're very proud of his graduation from that program. We received a grant from the Ohio Attorney General for body armor in an amount of $5,275, and that will be for ongoing replacements of body armor, because those expire after a 5-year period and they have to be replaced. So we're very fortunate and very happy to receive those additional monies. Starting this week, we're currently undergoing our CALEA annual inspection. That's being done online. Tomorrow we'll be participating in some conference calls with the assessor who is assigned to review our program. We're in the midst of the Click It or Ticket program right now. That runs until June 5th. We remind anybody who might be listening to make sure to use the seatbelt habit, and there will be consequences during that program throughout the state of Ohio. There will be zero tolerance for that. I think I've covered all of that. We'll move into the crime statistics. In the past month, we made 17 criminal arrests, including 6 for failure to appear, 4 for domestic violence, 2 for possession of drugs, 1 for burglary, 1 for receiving stolen property, and 1 for theft. We responded to 198 incidents, including 27 squad runs, 11 warrants, 10 domestic trouble runs, 9 parking complaints, 7 intrusion alarms, 7 suspicious persons, and 7 juvenile complaints. We provided mutual aid to our neighboring law enforcement agencies in 18 instances. We issued 73 traffic citations, 47 warnings, and investigated 7 crashes. This morning I gave an envelope to the municipal manager, and in the safety committee I shared some information. I'm just going to read to you. That's a copy of the letter that went to the manager this morning and that you're now receiving. And it's from me and to her, and it says, "My time with the Greenhills Police Department culminates in an almost 48-year law enforcement career and has included some of the most enjoyable work I have done. However, all good things must come to an end. I've grown old in your service here. I plan to enjoy a promotion to full-time grandfather sometime during the second half of this year. In making that transition, I've made a few promises that I believe will work in favor of the department and its staff. I promised the municipal manager long ago that I would not just give her 2 weeks' notice and be gone. To that end, she's been through that before. To that end, I notified her of my plans months ago. I also promised Lieutenant Ward that I would not leave until my successor was in place at her request. I feel fortunate that the municipal manager is allowing me to be involved in the selection of the next chief. This is a very special place with a superb staff of high caliber. I want to leave you with a new chief who exceeds my expectations in his or her vision for the department. We've made terrific progress here, and it is my strongest wish that it will continue without hesitation. Therefore, we will be looking for a professional, team-oriented leader who will set a high standard of values for both our staff and our community. The process begins tonight, consulting with the safety committee as required by ordinance. We hope to have a new chief selected and on board as soon as possible, working alongside me for an orientation period before being sworn in before you as the new Greenhills Chief of Police. I have enjoyed my time here more than I could say, so much that I have stayed far longer than I ever anticipated. Although I wish time did not pass so quickly, for everything there is a season. It has been the highest privilege of my career to work with each and every one of you and to have served this wonderful community. Now, you won't be getting rid of me that fast. I'll be back again next month, and I might be gone on vacation in July, but I think I'll be here probably through August. And I can't thank all of you, including particularly my boss, the manager, and all of you for the wonderful support over the years. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Great.
I would like to say a couple of words.
Sure.
When the name came up, it was my privilege to secure you here by the wise words of my husband, Brad Willard, who he said he was foot patrol when I was prosecutor in Hamilton, and his father was chief of Hamilton. Don't let him go. And his last words was, I leave you in a very safe place because Neil is in charge.
All right. Keep you around as long as we can. Okay, mayor's report. I've got April mayor's court report. Checks to be issued to the state of Ohio for $1,802, to Hamilton County $65.97, and the Village of Greenhills, $6,816.90. And that's all I have. Okay, reports of committee, safety, Melanie Hermes.
The Safety Committee met today at 6 o'clock. All were in attendance, myself, Council Member Walther, Mayor Moore, Manager Kovac, and Chiefs Fertleman and Spaeth were there. We did talk about radar signs. I know one is currently on my street on Handle, but we did ask how much the cost for another one was. I know some residents had asked about that, and it's about $4,500. At this time, we don't have any intent of getting one, any additional one, but that was just to put in so we know how much they do cost. I know we've talked about Winton Road and possible arrows on where the southbound on Winton. We are planning on putting 6 arrows on the existing posts. So the posts where the wire barrier is. We did talk about, someone had brought up speed cushions opposed to speed bumps. Chief Futterman looked into them, and what he's discovered is they are still harmful to emergency vehicles, and there have been instances of damage to the suspension on vehicles of people who live in the area. So at this time, it's not something we're looking at, but it's something we'll continue to monitor if people bring them up. It's just the damage to emergency vehicles and residential vehicles at this time is not something that is attractive. Chief went over his monthly report, and he did announce his intent to retire. Luckily, he has agreed to help with the recruitment and transition, so he will be a hard act to follow, and we appreciate all of this time and hard work that he's given to the community. Chief Spaeth did talk about the hydrants have been fixed and repaired, except for 2 that are outstanding. There is one on Hadley in the cul-de-sac that will require some excessive work, resulting in the apron of one of the driveways there. And then there was the fire hydrant that was hit on Winton Road. That one is outside the barrier, so of course that is the one that got hit, and they're working on getting that one fixed as well. Also, with that being said, a public service announcement. If you do have a fire hydrant in your front yard, please maintain the yard grass or planting around the fire hydrant. There is a 10-foot clearance that is required in all directions. Then we also talked about possibly the fire chief and fire marshal talking about some fire lanes if they're necessary, and they will research, and if they think there's anything necessary, they might possibly make a proposal to council. We talked about painting the firehouse. We have secured a contract, but unfortunately, the painting is delayed to summer or early fall based on when the contractor can get to it. Every time we talk to him, it seems to be a little bit further out, so hopefully it will be in late summer or early fall. The fire department has gotten a $10,000 grant from the state for fire gear. This will cover almost 3 full sets of fire gear. Then the American Fire Grant through FEMA is, they've requested a grant for radios, hopefully to get 35 new radios, as the current lifespan for the current radios is the end of 2025. And at that time, it's not that they just will no longer be able to go on air. It's not even that they won't be serviced, it's just they won't be able to operate. We are continuing to talk about their contract. The volunteer fire department's contract is up at the end of this year. So that's one of the things that we have to talk about coming with full council. It's not something that can just be resolved in the safety committee, but it's something that we are in the midst of talking about. I believe the contract negotiations have to begin in August, so that's just something on our radar. And then the fire chief says he and the fire marshal are making, or the fire chief said the fire marshal is making good progress, and that they continue to work together in a cooperative fashion. And that is all I had for the safety committee today. And of course, I will pass these over at the end of the meeting. Thank you, that was great.
Okay, any comments? All right, recreation, cable television, Rachel Hudson.
I have nothing to report, Mayor.
All right. Community Development, Jeff Halder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, we talked about bringing back the beautification awards, and we have an announcement for the winners. Just to go over the criteria, we've got a new approach. We had a nomination approach originally, and sometimes I don't know if the word didn't get around, but it seemed to be the same people were being nominated, and we were good to our word, and some were double recipients. So we've wanted to spread that love around, I guess. So what we've done is properties that fit the following criteria will be identified and entered into a drawing into 4 different quadrants of the village. Is it 4 or 2? 2. So west of Winton and east of Winton. And the criteria is curb appeal and compatibility, overall attractive appearance and compatibility with surrounding areas, quality of design, landscape and home details, home maintenance, proper ongoing maintenance and upkeep of the home, lawn, porch, drive, etc., kept free of stored items and any necessary items being kept in orderly, discreet manner, lawn and landscaping, a variety of well-groomed plantings, mulching, weed-free beds, well-maintained, and water is a 4th and final criteria. Everybody that wins does get a sign in their yard, like so. And then there's also a more tangible prize. We have a choice. You have a choice of a day poll pass, I believe, is the one thing, and then we have some gift cards to choose from to thank you for caring for your property. So our 4 announcements for this spring is on east side of Winton is 58 Handle and 16 Handle. In the west side of Winton, it's 22 Brompton and 22 Burnham. It will be a little bit of a delay before you get your sign and gift certificates because some people are going out of town, and we'll be back. But next week we should be able to contact you and give you your sign and also your prize. But we encourage everybody. There are a lot of people that take great care of their property. And I think with just a little bit of help, you could easily fall in the category for being put in this lottery to keep Greenhills a beautiful place to live. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Finance and Audit, Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, at your places tonight, the financial recap for the month of April is at your place. General fund revenues through the end of April are continuing in a positive trend year to year as we're going into the second quarter. The general fund balance as of the end of April is $1,955,211.78, which is a healthy increase over the end of April 2022. Expenses and expended so far this year are well within our appropriated budget, so that we're in good shape there with no surprises. And there have been no transfers from the general fund reported, and none are being offered for vote in this month's legislation. So unless you have a specific question, it's the end of my report. Other than, Chief, you may resign as a chief, but you'll always be a good friend. The only person other than Maria that would talk me into being a grill master in the hottest month of the year.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules, Maria Walther.
I met today, but as a safety committee meeting with Mrs. Hermes, and I didn't have anything to bring up as the governmental rules and laws and rules committee meeting.
Okay. Service and Streets, Jennifer Osmonoglu.
Thank you. I attended the talk in the park on May 11th, and I'd like to encourage more people to attend, because it's a perfect opportunity to speak to Yvonne, ask any questions you have. Chief, for as long as we have him, he's available for information as well. And it's just a good opportunity to have, more of a conversation about things that are of a concern to you as a citizen of Green Hills. I just want to reiterate about the parking permits, because it's a really big deal apparently, and I'd like for people to realize that it's 3 streets that we're considering. It's at the behest of citizens. We're not sitting around trying to find ways to make money or charge people for things. And I would like everyone that is so outspoken about it to consider, if you had to park 2 streets down from your house every single time you had groceries, you'd be pretty irritated. So I just would like to see people think about other people a little bit more. Thank you.
Jennifer,
Okay.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is it at a place where you still are receiving any ideas or suggestions? Or
Yeah, this is all preliminary. It's just,
Right, so I think it's very good to voice an opinion, but also if you have a better idea, if you have a solution, and if you think it's not even sure if it's a better idea, I would encourage you to call the village office or talk to Jennifer. We live in a world that I feel it's so easy to be a critic. I'm guilty of it. I feel like a TV is nothing but a critic training box where you could sit down and have all kinds of opinions. And it's a lot different when you have to come up with some solutions. So we're not looking to make anybody's life difficult. We're looking for best optimum answers. And there's always a give and take in that. But if you have ideas, they would be welcome.
If I could just add in something there too. We have gotten some really good ideas. People have called the office or written to us. Those who are sincere in their comments are putting them in writing or talking to you face to face, rather than the ridiculous conversation that's on Facebook.
Besides, we're going to have meetings for
There'll be
involving
meetings
those,
for each street
involving
of the
those
people that
streets.
live on those streets, the people who are affected.
And I think that it's very important that we realize that this was originated by people on those streets. We don't sit here and come up with some odd idea of any kind. They have experienced the hardship. One of the suggestions that I presented to the chief was perhaps we have one of those parking also as a load and unloading zone for 10 minutes perhaps. Maybe if you have furniture coming or something like that. Like I said, it's open for all suggestions and good comments. And please keep in mind, those people are the one experiencing the hardship of trying to be in front of their house and unload the groceries.
All right, moving on. This is the time for citizens to comment on legislation listed on the agenda for this session of council. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and state your comments. Comments will be limited to 4 minutes. All right. Okay, we have no unfinished business. New business, resolution number 2023-R08 REC, authorizing the municipal manager to execute and file an application with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. Rachel?
Resolution number 2023-R08 REC, authorizing the municipal manager to file an application, authorizing the municipal manager to file an application with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for a Nature Works grant. Whereas the state of Ohio, through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, administers financial assistance for public recreation purposes through the State of Ohio Nature Works Grant Program. And whereas the Village of Green Hills desires financial assistance under the Nature Works Grant Program. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, State of Ohio, that Section 1, the Council of the Village of Greenhills approves filing this application for financial assistance. Section 2, the municipal manager is hereby authorized and directed to execute and file an application with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and to provide all information and documentation required to become eligible for possible funding assistance. Section 3, the Council of the Village of Greenhills does agree to obligate the funds required to satisfactorily complete the proposed grant and become eligible for reimbursement under the terms of the NatureWorks grant program. Section 4, this resolution shall be in full force and take effect immediately upon its passage. I move to adopt this.
Yeah.
I move to adopt this resolution, Mayor.
And I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution. Clerk, poll the council.
Mr. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Osmanoglu?
Aye.
Ms. Walker?
Aye.
Ms. Hermes?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
Ms. Hudson?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2023-R08-REC passes. Next resolution, number 2023-R09-SNS, authorizing the municipal manager of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, to prepare and submit an application to participate in the transit infrastructure programs and to execute contracts as required. Ms. Osmond. Jennifer?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number 2023-R09-SNS, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Transit Infrastructure Fund programs and to execute contracts as required. Whereas the Transit Infrastructure Fund program provides funding for the general construction or maintenance of roads, bridges, and related facilities involved in the provision of transit service by the Regional Transit Authority. And whereas the Village of Greenhills is planning to make capital improvements to Farragut Road and Ingraham Road and other infrastructure as necessary in the village. And whereas the infrastructure improvement herein above described is considered to be a priority need for the community and is a qualified project under the Transit Infrastructure Fund. Now therefore be it resolved by the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, that Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to apply to the Transit Authority for funds as described above. Section 2, the municipal manager is authorized to enter into any agreements with the Transit Authority as may be necessary and appropriate for obtaining this financial assistance. Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Clerk, poll the council.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
Ms. Walker?
Aye.
Ms. Hudson?
Aye.
Mr. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Hermes?
Aye.
And Ms. Osmanoglu?
Aye.
Resolution 2023-R09-SNS passes. Okay, next one, do we have any comments from any council members? They want to mention anything?
I just want to remind everybody of May the 29th, Memorial Day at the Commons at 11 o'clock.
All right.
I wanted to again thank Chief Riddleman for his years of service, and I'm looking forward to the next couple months of working with him and getting someone that he approves of to replace him.
I'm going to add to that, sorry. Chief, your professionalism, yet friendly and approachable, and just how you handle the department from our point of view, I think has been just utterly fantastic. Thank you. It must feel good to have a job well done and go play with some grandkids, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Municipal calendar.
Arbor Day, June 2nd.
Pool opens
Pool opens 27th.
and concert on the Commons
Yeah.
May 31st.
next Wednesday.
Mhm.
It will probably rain.
Just first,
Okay.
I did have one question. if I could
Oh,
just
go
ask.
ahead.
Did anybody receive from Rumpke a recycling calendar?
I do.
Yeah, I did.
We might have some extra ones.
I just wondered if there was a, thank you.
Tomorrow's your day, I think.
Yes, I just watched
You
the-
just look outside.
Yeah, watch the videos.
Yeah.
Is it our day?
No, ours was last week.
Thank you, Connie.
You can put it at Jeff's place.
Yeah.
Well, Mayor, I do have one other comment
okay.
on the calendar. Just a reminder to council, our yearly tax budget presentation will be presented June 13th at the work session. And then following that, 2 weeks later, during our regular council meeting, will be a passage for that. And our deadline for the tax budget is July 20th.
Deb, do we need to schedule a meeting of the finance committee prior
Yes,
to?
yes, we'll do that.
Okay,
We'll-
just let us know. We'll
We need,
make time.
yes, we will do that probably within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
All right. Okay, this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. If you have questions, the questions will be recorded and referred to the manager's office for a response. This will allow time for thoughtful and thorough consideration to be given to each question. Council meetings are recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 4 minutes. Speakers may not yield any or all of their time to other speakers.
Okay, I'm Patricia Bender, and I won't yield to anybody. So my first question was, I'm not sure, where are the gardens? Yvonne, do you know where the gardens are?
Yes, I think I do. They're down behind the pool.
Oh, behind the pool? By
They're
the
part of
tennis
the park
courts?
plan.
By
I'm
the
sorry?
tennis courts? By the
Yes.
tennis courts?
Yes.
Correct.
All right, one other thing I wanted to say, and I really haven't been negating on Facebook anything about parking, though I do seem to appear hostile at times. I do apologize for that, but I'm a bit frustrated only because I find we don't move forward in a lot of things. I think we have the potential and opportunity to be in Greenhills, be in a historical site on a map. I think we really need to take some of that into consideration on our development, and specifically within the community, because I think there's so many more things we could offer to attract people here. I was coming out of my office the other day, and I had like two couples walking through the shopping center looking as if they were part of exploring our historical site. So I really think this is something I would be willing and very interested to participate in, putting more activities together or identify ideas on creating more business opportunities to bring people here. The other thing I wanted to say was, which threw me into that, was the Farragut and the parking and the passes and that. I remember.
It's not Farragut, it's Falcon.
I mean, Flanders.
Falcon.
Falcon.
Oh, it is Flanders?
No.
Someone told me today it was Flanders.
Falcon.
Well, one thing I would suggest, and I'm only giving you an opinion because you asked for one, is to really stop business trucks. You know, company trucks on a private street that has such limited parking is an opportunity for people to have more spaces. And I think it's good to have so many spots that are identified specifically for loading or unloading or 24-hour. I think this would be a good way to pull everybody together to talk within the street, to get to know each other, which is a positive, I think, for the community. Was there one other thing? Have we not already done Farragut Road when it came to repaving it? Did we do like half of it 5 years ago?
No.
We never did Farragut?
We had one more
we
section
repaired, yeah.
repaired. It was a repair.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
There's no pen to sign. I'm Barb Taylor. I live at 18 Gambier Circle. And I've been following the whole brouhaha over the designated parking spots for the 3 streets. I have a question. There is a parking lot that feeds off of OLR's parking lot. And it used to be that some of the residents on Falcon would park there. But now, if you park there, you're going to be towed. How come that can't be set up for reserved parking spaces Monday through Friday and just not Saturday and Sunday? That's just a question.
It's the parish's parking.
Oh. So another, okay.
We don't have.
Well, charity begins at home.
You are correct.
I mean, yeah, it's a question, but not for us because we don't own the property.
Yeah.
It's not that we haven't discussed that.
Yes.
Right.
I'm trying to do something there with them.
Thank you.
Monique Masonhalter, Greenhills resident. I'm here tonight to ask council members to consider writing to our Ohio legislators, Jessica Miranda, Lou Blessing, Warren Davidson, J.D. Vance, and Sherrod Brown, to ask them to write a letter to the Federal Communications Commission. In 2021, a U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit ruled in favor of environmental health groups and petitioners that sued the FCC for not updating its 1996 safety limits for human exposure to wireless radiation. The agency still hasn't addressed this. Ohio State Representative Adam Matthews and Ohio State Senator Steve Wilson have already written letters to the FCC after their constituents requested they do so. I have copies of these letters that I've sent around. I will now also read some of the content from them. From Steve Wilson, 7th District. I am writing you today to call attention to an alarming issue presented to me by 2 of my constituents located in the 7th District of Ohio. They voiced to me that the FCC's agency rules and regulations for radio frequency emissions need to be updated. According to one constituent, the FCC's human exposure limits for radio frequency has not been updated since 1996, and she is greatly concerned with the number of cell towers and the levels of EMF exposure in Warren County, Ohio. I kindly request you consider my constituents' concerns and reevaluate the rules surrounding radiation. This is from Adam Matthews, the 56th District. I am writing you today to notify you of an issue brought forth to me by a constituent located in the 56th House District of Ohio. This constituent has expressed concern that the FCC agency's rules and regulations governing radio frequency emissions need to be updated. She noted to me that some of the rules governing exposure limits to radio frequencies have gone unupdated since 1996, and she has further expressed concern with the number of cell towers and the level of exposure in Warren County, Ohio. I kindly request that you hear my constituents' concerns, and I thank you for your attention to this matter. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact my office. I'm also asking again tonight that Greenhills council members strengthen our small cell facilities ordinance, as it does not protect us from the irresponsible placement of wireless facilities, both 4G and 5G, and the installation of unneeded and unwanted infrastructure. Other Ohio municipalities have passed more protective ordinances, and Greenhills could too. Fellow Greenhills resident Vince Wellage and I have provided a great deal of information to you at meetings and also by email on how you could do this. However, there has been no discussion with us about it. You give us 4 minutes once a month at these meetings to speak, and then you discuss it among yourselves at meetings and perhaps in executive session and elsewhere. At meetings, council members often complain about how time-consuming this is, but there is no discussion with us. which isn't fair to residents who don't want this infrastructure installed near our homes. I am offering again the invitation that Vince and I would be willing to meet with any of you so we could actually have a discussion about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, no one else, meeting adjourned.